Everyone, and welcome to Sniper Sundays. I hope you're all well and had a great weekend. So time to get ready and start getting ready for a new week in the market. Lots to look forward to, and yeah, we're going to have more of the same. What we saw last week with the orders trading, limit trading, and also some lives and sessions to catch up with each other, which were really good last week. So let's get cracking into Sniper Sundays and see what we've got for the week ahead. So Monday is a very quiet day, nothing on the economic calendar as it stands on Monday. Tuesday we've got some Japanese JPY news for the Japanese yen, and then we have some US dollar news later in the day. Wednesday, some Australian dollar news, which will be interesting for us. US dollar news as well. FOMC statement and conference on Wednesday, so we'll be keeping our eyes out and peeled for that. Thursday, it's not a lot of news. Oh, actually, sorry, down here at 12:45 we have some Euro news and 1:30. So Euro unemployment claims, which will be interesting. European Central Bank conference at 1:30 as well. So we'll be keeping an eye out on Thursday for that. And then Friday is just a little bit of US dollar news. So not an awful lot, not too much on Friday. And then what will we have? First Friday of the month, even though it falls on the first. So then the following Friday is when we have non-farm payroll. So it's not falling on the very first Friday of this month, which normally does. We got Friday, May the 1st. But May the 1st is a bank holiday in many places. See May bank holiday in Europe, France, China, and so on. So yeah, it could be a quiet day on Friday, but we shall see. So relatively quiet day on Monday to start off with. So let's look at the chart. So last week wasn't the biggest week in the market. You can see here on the US dollar index, we'll start with first. You can see here on the weekly candle for the US dollar index that we've had a bullish week, printed a bullish week, bit of a spike to the upside, up to resistance. Haven't been able to take out the previous high over here, but we come up to this area of resistance, as you can see here, and we've tested that level. We've shown a bit of a rejection, shown a bit of a push down on Friday, as you can see here. So we've had this little bit of a evening style formation, possibly forming a double top here, and showing a bit of bearishness. Now, from looking at the various pairs, I think we may see further US dollar weakness next week. We know we've been sort of watching out for that recently, and we've been looking out for the US dollar to try and pop back up into this region here. You see I've got this double top, but we were always looking for price to come back up to this sort of 61, possibly 78.6% retracement level before the US dollar potentially selling off. Now, at the moment, as I said, we've come up on Friday and shown a bit of resistance around the monthly resistance 100.50, and this could just be bringing in early sellers, people too eager to sell the US dollar just yet against different currencies. And I think we could still come up and take out this previous high over here, and in fact come up and tap that put that back on, tap that Fibonacci region as just shown at 61 or 78.6% retracement level. So I think this is too early to look at US dollar weakness. You can see here on a daily chart, doesn't really give us too much confidence just yet. Seeing bullish, doji, bit of a bearish engulfing, but not very strong. As you can see here, the candle or the wick at the bottom of this candle, just showing that the buyers pushed the price back up slightly at the end of the day or throughout the day, and we haven't been able to close strong. So showing a bit more upside potential for the US dollar. So on that case, what we can see here, these are just drawings I've had on. Let me just drop down to the 4-hour quickly on EURUSD. Let me remove this arrow for a second. So we can see here, Euro US dollar, we pushed down to the level that we were looking out for since last Friday to come down into this level. We had a nice rejection on Thursday, then we rolled back over to the downside, bit of euro weakness on Friday morning, which triggered our Euro AUD long, and we pushed back up here. On Friday and sort of have a bullish candle, but I think again, because of the US dollar situation, I think it's too soon for this to push back up to the upside. So what I'm watching out for on EURUSD when we open up on Sunday night, Monday morning, is what I'm expecting is another push down to the downside still on this. I don't think we're ready just yet. EURUSD, the most traded pair on the forex market. People, a lot of retail traders buy this, and a lot of retail traders get not buy this, trade this and get caught out. What I can see here is possibly making a little bit of a move up here at the start of the week to show some bullish potential, possibly a fake out to this trend line here. And then what we can see is taking out this high over here, as you can see here, taking out this high, creating a new high or equal high over here, I should say. But remember, this is the last lower high up here. So we've got this as potential ceiling to hit. And we've also got this where we could come up, tap this level and tap this trend line. I think we're going to come up here, initially just push up, and then we're going to come back down. Where here is where we want to be watching out for EURUSD for a longer term swing trade. So we may look and try and take this trade down. I think it could be a nice potential short trade into this region. And then we're going to be looking at this inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, and a possible right shoulder forming here to push back up to the upside. But this area is an area of support really for EURUSD, and we need to test it one more time in order to show that it can actually hold. We pushed down on Thursday, pushed back up, came down on Friday, pushed back up. Now we want to see that third and final retest in order to look at this pair going higher. Because with the US dollar, depends on how tricky it's going to be next week. If we push up to take out this high, we could just push up a little bit higher to that 61-78% retracement level on the fib and come down slightly lower on here. Now we look on this, I showed you this last week as well. We marked on the morning call, we marked out that 78.6% retracement level on here as a potential area to look at taking along. It spiked that level absolutely perfectly, as you can see there. I just remove this fib now. But what I want to do is see price come back down and sort of retest this area. We come back, retest this, find support here, could be a great potential long trade. But we just need to see what the US dollar is up to, as we are just sitting at resistance at the moment. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but I do see price coming up, taking out this high and making a new high up above here. So that's what I'm looking out for early on Euro US dollar early in the week. Coming up a little bit higher, taking out this previous high, testing this high, pushing it up a bit higher, and then we're looking at coming back down to the downside. So we can look for a nice little short opportunity here, I believe. Nice short opportunity down into this level, and then we can actually look at a nice long trade back up, which will be a swing trade. EURGBP, sort of similar situation. This one's quite tricky. It's hard to read this price action at the moment, given that we had this massive push up during the week. We've had a push down. We're showing signs of trying to push back up, and at the moment the bulls are in control. As you can see on Friday, we had a nice push back up again. So again, similar situation to EURUSD. I think we're gonna have a push up here on EURGBP up into maybe sort of these regions 0.880, and then we're gonna see a push back down. And here we need to test this area of support. So whether how high we can come with this, we might just push up, take out this high here, just push up slightly, and then roll back down to the downside. And here is where we're going to be watching price action to see, can this level in fact hold? But I am wary of this. I'm going to take this away for the moment because I see us coming back down into here. But what we will be watching, we'll be looking to take this short from this area. We will be watching out for these lows as well. Can price come down? Remember, we were waiting last week to for price to push down below this low before making a move, but it just made sort of an equal low there. Well, possibly what we could see is on this push down is to come down and maybe take out that low there. Come down into that region, come down, take that out, push into here, and then push back up. So watching out for let the market do what it wants to do at the start of the week, looking for it to come up into sort of this region, take out this previous high here. Once it comes up into this high, let it extend this push up. We'll be watching for this for short signs, potential 50, 61% fib here, and we can look at taking a short trade back down on this. EURAUD, the nice pair that we had a nice trade on on Friday. At the end of the day, sort of just fell off and didn't really do too much. We look like we're going to break out the Asia highs as marked out, and this is why we took that profit. We took profit just at the right time on the first 50%, and then we came down a little bit and we closed out for the other 0.5%. But Here we can see we're just coming up into resistance. So again, never be greedy, understand the surroundings, understand the sessions, understand that it was Friday and the US session was going to get quiet. So we took that profit there just around 2 o'clock as the initial rush of the 1 o'clock open, 2 o'clock open here. We got to the top, didn't quite test or break, but I do think we will see this area tested on Monday, Tuesday. But at the moment, I do see some more downside of EURAUD because of how the daily and weekly have ended. So you can see daily there, we've got a nice doji candle. Weekly, we are very, very bearish still. Even though we can see a nice little pullback, I see a bit more downside because of the Aussie dollar as well, which I'm going to get to shortly. So at the moment, very, very quiet, just bouncing, just dancing along a little bit of an area of support here. But what I'm expecting price to do is come up and retest these levels, perhaps retest this broken support here. Remember, price has to play along to technical analysis. So we can see here that we do have this area of support that we broke out of. Clean break, no retest. So I'm going to be watching out for early in the week. Again, Euro bulls. I think Euro strong at the start of the week again. Back up into this area. And unless we can really get going with the Euro bulls, I then see that pull back down as I'm explaining on EURGBP and EURUSD. Things can change, so we might have to change our bias. But at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to have enough from the Euro bulls just yet. So I'm looking for the Euro to have a push up. As I said, we didn't take out the Asia high over here. We didn't test this resistance. So I'm fully expecting this to come up and test this resistance. Take this out, come and hit 1.700 and then come to this level. We may come back down in, take out these lows, and then it'll be the next leg up. But at the moment, the Aussie dollar looks like it can have another leg up to the upside after maybe a minor pullback. So this is the reason why I'm thinking the Australian dollar may be able to push this euro pair back down before we have that big swing trade that I'm looking for. So we could come back down into these areas down here. But again, initially I'm looking for euro bulls to start the week. Try and continue what they were trying to do Thursday, Friday. We'll see how that plays out, and we'll see what trades there are. Euro NZD, similar situation as Euro AUD. We're in this daily range. Again, I think Euro bulls, but we need to be wary that the bears can step in at any time. We've got a support over here that looks suspect to come back down and retest. You can see here we are having the third touch of this daily counter trend line. Quite a wide range for a daily range here, but just to kind of show us exactly what is going on in the market right now. Being squeezed in here under the 0.800. Again, I do see a pop back up, but it could be short term, and we could come back down to sort of these levels as well. Take out this level and then create a new low over here before the next leg up. So we're watching out for that situation next week. EURJPY, basically coming back down to this level that I had highlighted last week, this weekly low. So now that we've hit this weekly low, we've done exactly what we would expect. We've seen a rejection Thursday, we've seen a rejection Friday, tweezer bottom on a daily, but this could be bringing in retail sellers a bit too early here. Again, I see a bit more downside on the euro pairs. So what I'm expecting here is EURJPY to give a little bit of life into this pair, pop back up into this sort of region here, back up to the counter trend, to the trend line, perhaps test these levels of resistance here that you can see we found, or even up here. And from here, if we see that weakness, I can see the bears coming back in and pulling this down to take out these lows. This low here is the retail low, you could call it. Everyone looking at charts thinking, yeah, we found some support here, we found weekly support over here. It's not that simple, and if it was, we'd all be millionaires and get every trade right. We'd be able just to understand, okay, if it was as simple as there's a support here, there's a support here, okay, I'll buy now, Forex would be easy. But what we can see here, guys, is I think this is the retail sellers, retail buyers support. So here we might see a bit of life come into the market. Look like this long trade is going to go great, and then we could see the realistic push back down from the resistance, push back down to the downside, take out these early buyers, take out these early stop losses down, set down here, and then what we see is price come back down, fill in this liquidity, take these people out, push down, squeeze, 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 and then we see, bang, a nice move up to the upside. That's where we're going to be looking to come in That's the trade that we're going to be looking to be taking. So I see a little bit of upside. Again, if we do see that we'll have to monitor the market, because if the Euro bulls step in, which we've been sort of looking at for the last couple of weeks, if they step in and step in fast, maybe we could go slightly higher. But I'll have to watch out. But I do think that we're going to have a pullback. We haven't had enough price action here for a full-blown reversal yet. We'd have to see a push up here. We'd have to see a pullback into sort of these regions, minimum sort of support, left shoulder, head, push up, come back, right shoulder, and then push up. So regardless, I think that we can see a little push up from EURGBP at the start of the week, and then I'll be watching for a sort of setup down into these regions again. And then if we have that short, then what we'll do is bank 50% profit, let it run, and then we'll be looking at hedging our long trade and look at taking a trade back up. So that's a nice sort of setup for next week. GBPUSD, so big sell-off at one point, well, not big sell-off, but we're in consolidation zone here earlier in the week. Had a sell-off during the Asian session and so on. They came down about 150 pips. And then we had a bounce straight off weekly support and push back up and retested this area of resistance. So then Friday was a pretty choppy, down, up, not really going too far. Ended the week kind of strong as we went into Friday's close. We had a bullish engulfing, but the day on itself was just that bit of choppiness there. And I think the day on itself really only moved about 60 pips. So what I'm expecting on GBPUSD is, as I said on the live evening call on Wednesday or Tuesday Tuesday last week, I still see this area of support being quite weak and seeing price coming down into this level and trying to test this low. You see here on the bigger picture on the 4 hour, we've got a sort of left shoulder here, we got a head, and we got a potential right shoulder forming. Now, when price was down here, I explained I was expecting price to try and push into this region, dipping that little bit lower, and then we'll come up for what looks like a neckline. I'm saying, sorry, a right shoulder. But if we could come down into this level, then we'll see the bulls step in and take this higher. And then I explained, I think we could take out this high and push on even higher. However, we had this sort of unexpected bounce straight from here. Haven't come back and retested this low either. So what I'm expecting is we still need to have the bigger retracement on a daily, is to see the pound push up here initially. I think we could look for a trade up into sort of this level, 1.24, 1.25, and from there we'll see a push back down into these regions, these lows here, and then we can see that bigger move long term up to the upside. So we've got a few opportunities here. First off, we can be looking at potential longs into 125, which also lines up with a nice Fibonacci. 61.8% lines up perfectly there with that 125, which should also be a right shoulder to this left shoulder. You see that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So watching out for that sort of situation to try and play out, and so we can take advantage of it, push up here, and then roll down a short into this sort of region, 122, and then we could be looking at an overall long trade all the way back up. Could even come down a little bit lower than 122, could come back down to 120. So if we got a nice trade up to 125 and took a short trade from here, and we could push down, take out this low from here, take out this low, take out that low, come down, make new lows, and then bang to the upside, we could be looking at a potential 500 pip drop here, which would coincide with what we would expect to see on pound from that bullish move from the bottom to the top. We haven't had a real sort of Fibonacci retracement, so we could come back down to that 50% retracement there, maybe even dip a little bit lower to the 61.8, and then we have a push up to the upside, back up to 1300 longer term over the next few months. So really nice setup possible there on GBPUSD. GBPJPY, I also see some upside potential here early in the week before a sell-off. You see here a little bit of a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This would play out with EUROJPY as well, early move up, and then a roll over to the downside. So levels that we want to look out for here is this is holding as support at the moment, and this could well hold as support because it is a weekly support of 13250. So I want to see how this plays out early in the week and early on Monday stroke Tuesday. If we're going to come back down and this breaks, then I think there's going to be a nice buying opportunity from this level up here, and then trade it up, and then be looking at a trade up into this region before then looking at a short trade back down. So watch out for these levels here, and then upside targets will be sort of the 13400 level region and maybe slightly higher. But again, we'll be looking at maybe a Fibonacci push back down into these levels. 61 is holding nice there. We'll have to see. That lines up nicely with some Fibonacci extensions. So we're watching out for that sort of play out there as well. Now, GBP AUD is looking very, very, very bearish at the moment. We've broken the trend line here. So any longs at the moment are getting squeezed right out. Anyone trying to take a long off the trend line here, getting squeezed down, and we can see price is going to come down. We took out this low already. We're coming to take out this low. We'll take out this region. So we're looking to come down into that sort of level here, and then have a bounce off from this level. I'm going to watch this area. I said I do think we have Aussie dollar weakness, strength, but we may see a little bit of weakness at the start of the week as a form of retracement. So possibly we might see a retracement on here as well for GBP AUD, and then a sell-off again back in. I think it's looking really, really bearish at the moment. Wanted to swing back up here for GBP AUD from this level here. From the remember we were looking at this to take out this level that I just took that highlighted from, and then we were looking at taking out that level, which we did, and then finding support here. So we were watching that ourselves last week for a potential long, but the long hasn't happened. So now anyone looking at taking longs there or has taken longs will be getting squeezed out here. We're coming into this level of support. Once we get into this level of support, we could drop down even just a little bit lower because the bears are really in control right now. Very, very bearish. We drop into this level, and from here we could be looking at a nice potential long trade. Along with the other pound pairs, as I said, we can see some upside potential before rolling back over to the downside, before then having that bigger move back up towards around 200. So there could be a nice potential here, but we're coming into this area of support for GBP AUD. So we'll be watching this area of support first, and then we could be looking at that nice trade back up to the upside, looking at possibly 200-300 pips to the upside. USDCAD, interesting one. I think that we could see a big sell-off in USDCAD over the coming days or week, maybe towards the end of the week or something. We're finding some support here around 1.400. I mentioned that we may try and look for a long trade if we come back down and retest this on the live morning call. We came back down but sprung straight back up and didn't really get a chance to look at taking a long trade from around here. However, I do see on the start of the week this price coming back down and sort of retesting this level again. You can see the advance it's tried to make hasn't really sustained across through here. So I'm looking for potential push back down to the downside, maybe not that far, but back to the trend line, back down to these regions, back down to this sort of region here, and then from here a trade up into this level. Now trade up into that level, this is where I think that we could have a potential really big sell-off on USDCAD. As we come up into that level there, we'll have this Fibonacci on the daily before a 4-hour time frame, 61.8% retracement, take out highs, take out highs, take out highs, take out highs, come up into this level, and then a big sell-off all the way back down. So that's what I'm looking at. I see some more upside on USDCAD. I also see some more upside on Aussie dollar CAD. I'll get to that in a second. USDJPY is the only one I'm really not going to call out a trade on or set up just yet, because it's comical the way it's just gone into a complete range in the last week. My bias overall was that I was expecting more downside on USDJPY. Still do, and that plays in line with EUROJPY and GBPJPY, like I said. But along with that, we could possibly see, like those pairs, we could see a push up, a fake out of the top of this range, then a push back down to 106. Did call out possibility of 105, and then from there we'll be looking at taking a long trade all the way back up. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So a little bit of a change of heart I'm looking at on Aussie dollar, US dollar, because price is just showing us that it's not really ready to fall yet, to be quite frank. So you have to be able to change your bias on pairs or your mind at any time. I always say that. So but when a daily candle closes, You need to see how it closes, and if you think something was bearish and then the daily candle closes bullish, then you need to think, okay, actually things might be changing. So here we can see with Aussie dollar, we've been expecting a bigger pullback on Aussie dollar at some point to form a proper Fibonacci retracement. We've pushed up here, didn't have a proper retracement. Pushed up again, barely had a retracement. If you look at this on the grand scheme of things, on how much we've moved on Aussie dollar. So at the moment, you can see we've come back down. We came back down, found support, minor push up, came back down, found support. Now we're having a push back up. We're taking out this high here, and at the moment it looks quite strong. So if we're taking out this high here, and we continuously taking out the trend line, the counter trend line. If I just move this away for a minute, or I'll just make it a bit smaller actually, just so you can make it clear. You can see support, resistance, resistance, resistance. We're continuously breaking the trend line. So we've broken through here. Looked like we were going to pull back down, but now at the end of the day, started to push back up again on Friday, and it looks like we've broken this area. So this has that upside potential. So we have to take that on board and just say, okay, well, Aussie dollar does look bullish right now. So at the moment, what I do think is that we are going to have some more upside on Aussie dollar. We are in an area of a little minor area of resistance, which we've got here. So I think early in the week, what we might show is a pullback on Aussie dollar. We might see a little bit of a pullback from these areas, maybe bringing some short sellers and what we need to make the next move up. Possibly something like this, back into the 38-50% fib level, come back and retest this area of support, which we've already actually done. You can see here we've broken resistance, broken through here, come back and support, and now we're going to try and break above the next area of resistance, which is sitting around here. But we may struggle to do that early in the week because of momentum. So what we might just see is price push back down a little bit lower, a little bit like other pairs on EURUSD and other US dollar pairs. See a push back down lower, maybe with some US dollar strength, but from here then I think we could see possibly a push up to the upside on Aussie dollar at the moment. And what we'll be looking at is a minimum coming up to take out this high, and then I think we're going to push on and make a higher high. So we can really call a Fibonacci on the inner time frames. It could possibly come up to around the 0.6350 level, around these levels. Just zoom out to the daily to see what does that line up with. You can see previous price action around this level. But yeah, it looks like we're in search of some sort of resistance. Bulls are in control, so we could come up to these levels easily. Anywhere around this level really is a possibility for Aussie dollar at the moment. We could even come up to this previous high up here. So yeah, there's upside potential at the moment Aussie dollar. So that's why I'm seeing some more downside on Euro AUD pairs and GBP AUD possibly. But it depends on what we see at the start of the week. Again, Aussie dollar is subject to a slight change over the weekend, depending on what gold does and stuff as well. So we have to see what happens in the weekend. But as it stands, this is what it looks like. It looks like we could find a bit of resistance here, possibly pull that down early in the week, but then we are looking for upside potential. Aussie dollar CAD is the same situation. So you can see here just on the daily, we've been edging higher, edging higher, edging higher, looking like we're a suspect to make a drop at any time. But then on daily, on Friday, we had another bullish candle after a doji, shooting star, bearish. It started to slow down, but we printed another bullish candle. So what you can see here, just quite clearly, nice clear chart, is that price around here, where this daily resistance is up here, just take a price. You can see we've got some resistance, but it just isn't been strong enough. And we're now on the search of the next area of resistance. And the next resistance, clear resistance, is over here at 0.9050. So we're looking at price early in the week, continuing the push up higher. I think if we could even get a pull back into this sort of region one more time, we do see the Aussie dollar weakness. We may see that push up, a nice trade back up into that region, possibly even higher. So that is a possible trade. Again, with this, if we're trading this, if we're gonna go short, we want to see a break of this and then a retest to confirm the area as resistance, because this could at any time pop back up with a fake out. As you've seen fake outs here, here, and here, and pushing back up, and then to push back down. But at the moment, the bulls are in control, unless something changes over the weekend, and the Aussie dollar news that's coming drastically changes things. I think we still have some more upside potential on Aussie dollar. Same as the Aussie dollar Japanese yen, a sort of a similar situation. I see a push down early in the week. Aussie dollar Japanese yen, we can see we're breaking out of this trend line. We've had a push up here, push back down. Keep trying to push back down, but the bulls are too strong. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, in line with the overall trend. So again, like Aussie dollar, US dollar, we come down, we've broken up above this resistance, had support, tested support again, and now we're trying to push up higher. So now that we've broken this counter trend line, I see price early in the week, similar to Aussie dollar, US dollar, trying to pull back down into sort of these levels where you could be looking at potential long trades up to fulfill this Fibonacci extension and come up to this round significant level on Aussie dollar Japanese yen of 70.00, taking out this high over here and trying to make its way up to find some resistance before the overall bigger short all the way back down to form that daily retracement that we haven't seen since this bull move started happening all the way down here. So we can have a push up all the way up to here, then we come back down to this 50% retracement. So there's a nice long trade on, there's a nice big short trades available afterwards. So yeah, we've got a few potential trades on each of these pairs at the moment. NZD USD as well. I see some more upside with this at the moment. Been fairly quiet this week, but with the Aussie dollar strength, that looks possible. I think we can come up, retest this trend line here, retest this trend line again early in the week, see yet another push down as this price just continues to bounce around within this triangle formation, and then we can see a bigger push back up to the upside. So that's what I've been sort of watching out for. Gold looks quite bullish. Could this be the week that gold goes up and makes even new highs? At the moment, price action would suggest yes. We've had a push up here, little pullback down, big push up, little pullback down. We look like we're about to crack this previous high. Again, trying to bring in some liquidity for some short sellers, bringing them into the market before we pump back up to the upside. If this pushes up to the upside, then we can more than likely see this Aussie dollar strength continue as well. So what we may see early in the week with gold is, again, like I just said, maybe bringing in some liquidity, maybe bringing in some short sellers by showing some sensible pullback maybe into these regions, and then there might be that next leg up. But again, with the sort of situation with the world, it's all subject to a little bit of change. We always have to see what's going to happen with market open and early in the week. But as price currently stands, with this 4-hour bullish, with this daily, with the way the daily's closed, this sort of pin bar looks like it's ready to rocket back up to the upside. However, in order to do that, I think we may need some more liquidation, liquid to come back down into this region, retest this resistance, broken through, come back as support, and then move back up. You can see here how gold likes these levels. It's like steps: 16, 1650, 17, 1750. So you come up, break, retest, push up, break. We've retested this level, but once you break back up, we want to come back and retest as support, and then we could look at that next trade back up from there, back up to the upside. And that's about it, guys. There's a few various other pairs that I'll keep an eye on, maybe like NZD and Aussie dollar pairs against different currencies, but that's the overall ones that we're watching out for the most. We've been sort of monitoring them over the past couple of weeks continuously, and there looks to be a trade on every single one of these pairs next week. So as I said, the trades that will be coming out now will more or less be more orders rather than market or live trade, taking it at market price. Most of them will be orders. We will still have a bit of both, but there will be a lot of limits. So you just set the limit like we did with EURUSD, and then you take the trade once the price hits our levels. We will do some more lives as well next week, and like a live evening call or a live trading session as well, either morning or US session. Probably do a US session this week, so it's a bit easier for those of you who are in America. Well done to everybody who tuned in from America. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning for you guys on the morning call, but have to say well done and good work for the dedication. That's what you need in this game. So it's great to see that. But yeah, what we'll do is potentially this week, well, not potentially, we will do it. We will have a US live trading session later in the week when the market's moving a bit more, so either Thursday or Friday. I'll update with a schedule like I did last week, and yeah, we'll choose a date where we'll have a live US trading session. So that will be good for everyone around the rest of the world, because everyone's usually, it's a good time for everyone, I believe, the US session. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So looking forward to a great week. Hope you all like Sniper Sundays. Hope you're all ready. And yeah, let's attack this week from the off. Let's see what happens on the market open as usual. And let's see what happens on Monday morning. So speak to you all soon, guys. And yeah, I'll update as soon as market opens if there's any changes. But if not, we'll catch up on that morning call and get going from there. Thank you.